Why'd you drop kick the conversion from the sideline? That was everywhere on the media.
Yeah, far out. I've seen it too many times.
As Donaldson's done away with a tee and just gone strike.
Welcome to the Up and Coming podcast. I'm Connor McMullen, and this podcast is all about interviewing up and coming stars who are on the path of achieving their dreams. The Up and Coming podcast is brought to you by Drayton Laumberg. The sports agency represents the next generations of athletes and helps them to achieve their goals on and off the field. Head to draytonlaumberg.com to find out more. Today we have Ben Donaldson in. He's an Australian rugby union player who plays for the New South Wales Waratahs in the Super Rugby. Graduating Waverley College in 2017, Ben definitely made a name for himself, going on to be picked in the Australian schoolboys. Following on from this, he was selected in the Junior Wallaby squad for the 2019 World Rugby Under-20s Championship. Making his debut for the Tars last season, there is a lot to look forward to. So welcome, Dono.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
No problem. How you been going?
Yeah, good. Just finished our Waratahs Super AU season and about to kick off the Trans-Tasman season. So, yeah, it's all been good.
Cool. You recently just had a camp up in the country.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was good. So the boys, we didn't make the finals for the AU comp, so we went out to Orange for 3-4 days. That was good just to get out there with all the locals. We don't really get out to the country much, so that was good.
Yeah.
A few training sessions and a few coaching clinics as well, so it was good.
So when you go to these places, are you like guest speakers or you get to train with the boys?
Not so much guest speakers. We kind of get involved with them and do a bit of touch footy and stuff with them and then try coach them a bit as well. So
yeah. And when you were a young kid, listening to professional, athletes come in and talk to you, did you think that was going to be you in the future?
Definitely not. No. I don't think my skill talent when I was younger was enough to get me to this level, but who knows? Maybe one day I'll get into places and do some speaking.
Yeah. So what was your dream as a young boy growing up?
Obviously, I love rugby. Started playing rugby league when I was younger, but never really thought I'd get to the level. But obviously, as everyone, when you start playing rugby union, I'd love to play for the Wallabies. So that was probably the number one.
Yeah. Was rugby the only sport you played growing up, or were there quite a few?
Nah, there was quite a few. So rugby league when I was very young, bit of soccer as well. Cricket was a big thing in my life as well. And then when I went to high school, it kind of just started rugby union and cricket, and then after high school, just all rugby union.
Yeah, and was rugby the sport that you loved the most?
Yeah, 100%. I loved cricket as well. Cricket was unreal, but yeah, definitely rugby.
What about rugby did you enjoy so much?
Mainly just all the mates I met. So I've played in a lot of teams through my life, and I've got many mates still to this day through all the different teams. So that's probably the number one, yeah.
Yeah. So when did you first pick up a rugby ball?
Probably when I started primary school at Randwick Public, where you also went.
Yep.
Played rugby league there, but footy balls were footy balls back then, rugby union, rugby league, and ever since that day, it's just been the love of mine.
Yeah. And you're a Clovelly Eagle junior.
Yeah.
Would you say they were a big part of your development as a junior player?
Yeah, 100%. So when I finished playing rugby league, I moved to the Clovelly Eagles. I think it was under 10s, under 11s.
Yep.
And yeah, that was massive for me. That's where I learnt all my core skills in the juniors.
Yep.
And then moving into the Randwick Juniors and Randwick Academy and stuff, yeah, it was definitely a big pathway.
So what age did you play Clovelly Eagles to?
I think I played up until the under 15s.
Yep.
And then under 16s at Waverley and stuff, that's when it kind of got a bit serious, so we had to stop.
Yeah, so before high school, were there any rep teams that you were making?
So the Junior State Cup, that's on every year on the June weekend. I was just playing for Randwick. Started in the under 13s, probably up until the under 15s. So that was probably the main one, yeah.
Yeah. I know your dad's had a big impact on you. Do you want to sort of elaborate on that, how he's been with you through the way, coaching, mentoring?
Yeah, he has been massive. So he played rugby his life as well, played for Randwick, and he coached me coming through the grades, coached at Clovelly Eagles, coached at Randwick, the Randwick Junior Academy as well. So he's been there the whole way, and he's just really good support for me.
Yeah. So high school, you went to Waverley.
Yeah.
Was that from year 7?
Yeah, from year 7.
Yeah. Did you enjoy school? Was it?
Yeah, I did actually. The first few years, as you go through year 7, year 8, you're like, oh, this is a bit iffy. But into year 10, 11, 12, I thought it was unreal. Good group of mates and sport as well. Sport was a big highlight as well.
Yeah. Were there some tours with rugby for Waverley?
Yeah, so I got to go to New Zealand in year 10, which I was lucky.
So with like a senior squad?
Yeah, with like the first and second squad, which is pretty unreal. There was, I think, 4 or 5 of us in year 10 who got to go.
Yeah.
And then in year 12 again, we did the same trip, which was good.
Oh, cool. So what year did you have your first crack at first 15 rugby?
So it was year 11. Made my debut in a trial down in Canberra. Unfortunately got knocked out in the first 10 minutes and then ended up in seconds and then made my way back into first. So.
Yeah. So that was 2016?
2016,
You won the premiership, that right?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
How was that in front of all your friends and family?
Yeah, it was unreal. We had a big game against Knox down at Queen's Park and we managed to beat them, so big crowd there as well, so it was unreal.
Yeah. Then going on a year 2017, you got named captain of that side.
Yeah.
Was that expected or is it something that just came along?
Not really. There was no real talk about it. We had a little sevens tournament before the season started and they picked me as captain for that. So once that happened, I kind of thought maybe I'm a chance and then played some good footy and then it just worked its way up from there.
Yeah, cool. You won the premiership that year?
Yeah.
Is that comparing 2016 to 2017, was there just a good sort of feel about Waverley rugby or?
Yeah, I think so. I think 2017, the boys were probably more confident because a lot of us had won the comp in 2016
so
coming
most
through.
Of them came back.
Yeah. And yeah, I think the last game in 2017 against Knox, there was probably 6,000 people in the crowd at Queen's Park.
Yeah.
And the feel was just so much different 2016.
Yeah.
As good as it was, but yeah, it was unreal.
So is one of them more special to you or are they?
Nah, not really. I think any premiership you can win with a school or anywhere is all pretty special, yeah.
And then some rep teams, so you made CAS first 15 and New South Wales first 15. Do you want to tell us a little bit about those tournaments, how they work?
Yeah, so we got picked in CAS. We played against GPS. We were fortunate enough to win that. And then played against ISA as well, won that. It's just a little round robin. And then from that, they picked the New South Wales team. Went away to Riverview, stayed there for a week and a half and played against all the other states. Didn't do too well. I think we came 4th in the end. But yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah. And then so following that tournament, they picked the Australian Schoolboys, which you got selected in. Would you say it's fair that this was sort of your biggest achievement so far with your rugby career?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously being an Australian team, I didn't really expect to make it. I thought I played all right, but there was a lot of other good players there. And when my name got read out, I was just in shock, to be honest. But yeah, it was a unreal moment.
So you boys came 4th in that tournament. There was still quite a bunch of you that
there was. Yeah, there was a fair few of us. So I think the footy we played at school and in CAS and stuff leading up to that had a part in that as well.
Cool. Did Queensland win that comp? Or was it?
Nah, the ACT Brumbies won that actually. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you went on a tour for the schoolboys?
We didn't actually tour.
You didn't tour?
We were meant to, but I'm not too sure what happened. So we played against Fiji at Knox College. And then played against New Zealand out at TJ Milner out at Eastwood.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How did you find the standard of like how they played the game? Was it a bit different or?
Oh, not really. The speed and stuff was all pretty similar. Just the physicality was different. Fiji and Kiwi boys, all pretty big boys, so that was definitely a big step up for us all.
Yeah, cool. So after school, how did you transfer, I guess, to the school life into adulthood, I guess?
Yeah, so I started uni first year out of school at UTS. So that was pretty similar to school, really, going in there, doing your work, you got your classes. And then just training for Colts, started Colts first year out of school as well, Colts rugby.
Down at the Wicks.
Yeah, down at the Wicks, yep. So that was all good.
Cool. And then, so yeah, were you training with like grade at any stage or was it all Colts sort of focused at that time?
It was mainly all Colts. I was lucky enough to make my first grade debut in that same year, later on in the season. But didn't train with them at all. They just kind of had a few injuries and just threw me in the deep end. But
so then moving on a bit, so you, in 2019 you got selected in the under-20s Australian squad. You went on a tour for that one, didn't you, to Italy?
No, Argentina.
Argentina,
yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was unreal. It was a long process. We had about 4 or 5 camps leading up to that, like selection camps, which were all pretty tough. And then went to the Gold Coast for a couple of weeks and played against Fiji and New Zealand again and Japan. Little warm-up tournament. And then over to Argentina for about 3 or 4 weeks, which was unreal experience.
So for that squad, did you get a call from the coach or was it like released on the media?
So the warm-up comp in the Gold Coast, there was about 30 of us in that. And they were only cutting 3 or 4 from that for the World Cup. So we kind of found out after that, we had a big meeting and found out that we were all going, so it was pretty cool.
Did you feel it was like a bigger step up from size and skill level, knowledge of the game at these tournaments?
Yeah, 100%. Although it is still under 20s, a lot of the boys had already played Super Rugby on the 7 circuit and stuff, so it was a massive step up.
Yeah, and you guys unfortunately went down to France in the final.
Yeah, we did.
How did that sink in?
Yeah, it was a tough one. 1 point in the grand final
Yeah.
at the World Cup is pretty tough. All the boys were pretty shattered afterwards, but a couple of hours later there was a big after party, so the boys kind of kicked on a little bit.
Yeah, forgot about it.
Yeah.
And for Australian rugby, it would have brought like a lot of confidence for the next generation coming through.
Yeah, 100%.
You guys felt that as well, like you had a good bond at that tournament?
Yeah, big time. There was a lot of positive media stuff coming out after that comp, saying Australian rugby's back, all these good juniors are coming through.
Yeah.
Although we did lose the final, but we felt like we played a good enough footy to try bring rugby back in Australia. Yeah.
Did you sort of feel a bit of pressure on you after like seeing all that, or you just...
Yes and no. Obviously, we played a pretty good level, so you got to try stay at that level.
Yeah.
But all the boys are just pretty stoked to see all that stuff.
Yeah. So at the Tars now, you got a pretty strong bond, or very strong bond with Will Harrison.
Yep.
Do you want to sort of elaborate on that, where you guys started?
Yeah, so me and Harry have been friends for a long time. Our dads played footy together, so the families are pretty tight.
Yep.
We started playing juniors at Randwick in the under-13s, I think, the first state champs we went to.
Yeah.
And ever since then, we've kind of played in the same teams. He came to the Chloe Eagles from Coogee.
Yep.
And ever since then, we made schoolboys together, which was cool.
Yeah.
And then both got signed to the Tars, which was cool as well.
Yeah, so would you say it's sort of a dream come true for you two, just to continue that journey?
Yeah, 100%. Although we play the same position and we're always fighting out and competing for that same position, we're always working hard and trying to push each other. So, yeah, it's good.
There's some good banter around that?
Yeah, always. It's nothing negative, really. People always say, is there a bit of negativity? But, nah, it's always good fun.
Yeah. As a junior, who would you say owned that 10 jersey? You don't have to be humble as well.
I don't know. It was a bit mixed. Some comps, he got it.
Yeah.
And then in the Chloe Eagles, I played a fair bit of 10. He played a fair bit of 12.
Yep.
And then at a few state champs, he'd play 10. I'd play fullback. So it was always kind of mixed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what year did you sign with the Waratahs?
So I signed with them from the 2019 season, just on like a development contract.
Yeah.
So I did a pre-season and then kind of just trained if they needed me, if they needed numbers and stuff.
Yep.
And then 2020, so it was a 3-year contract. So last year was in the squad.
Yep.
When I made my debut, and then this year as well. So.
Yeah. So being a local junior, was that something that you always wanted to do?
Yeah, 100%. Once I got to year 12 and I was playing some decent footy, I thought I might try and make a crack at this. And being a New South Wales boy and being local in Sydney, it was definitely a dream come true.
Yeah, cool. Then Saturday, July the 10th, 2020, you got named Waratah 1684.
Yep.
What did this mean to you?
Yeah, it meant the world. Played at the SCG, which is a pretty iconic place to play.
Yep.
Lucky enough to win the game. Got about 20 minutes at the back end, which was good.
Yep.
And all my family and friends were there as well. So, yeah, it was a dream come true.
Did you find out like early that week, or was it sort of last minute?
Yeah, no, I found out on the Tuesday, I think, when they named the team.
Yep.
Got named on the bench, and, yeah, all the boys were stoked, and I was stoked as well.
Yeah. Anything in particular that goes over your mind about your debut?
Oh, not really. Just you don't really want to stuff up.
Yeah.
Your first game, everyone kind of remembers your first game and what you do first. But no, I was just more excited than anything to get out there.
Yeah. How were the celebrations after?
Yeah, they were good actually. We all kicked on, went to a few pubs, bit of a pub crawl.
Yeah.
Down Moore Parks. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So then moving on to this year, you started the season with the injury. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
So
yeah.
what was that with?
So I tore a tendon in my quad. Started pre-season at the end of last year.
Yep.
And then partly re-tore it when we came back after the New Year's break this year.
Yep.
So that set me out for 3 to 4 months, unfortunately.
Of the pre-season?
Yep. And then a lot of the games, of the first few games in the comp.
Yep.
But yeah, then worked my way back slowly.
Yeah, it's good. Have you had many injuries in the past?
Not really, no. I've had this has been my most serious injury.
Yeah.
A lot of ankle sprains and stuff like that, but yeah, nothing major.
Found it all right getting back to full strength? Like there's obviously coaches at the TARS that sort of get those programs and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was a long process. It was a bit of a grind, but we've got good physio staff, good strength and conditioning staff, all the footy coaches. So yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. And so you got 4 caps playing for the TARS now. And you made a few games at the back end of this season.
Yeah.
How are you excited for the Trans-Tasman now to get onto a few New Zealand teams?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was good. Last year I only came off the bench, and I've played 2 games previously starting, which was good to get some full games in.
Yep.
Although we haven't won one this year, but all the boys are real keen to get a few games against the Kiwis and try challenge ourselves. So.
Yeah. Which Kiwi team would you say you're most excited to play? Any players?
It's a good question. Probably have to say the Crusaders. They're the benchmark at the moment.
Yep.
Richie Mwanga, the 10, he's probably the best in the world.
Yep.
So yeah, it'd be pretty cool to play against them and really challenge ourselves.
Yep. Do you have any superstitions when it comes to game day or?
Not really. I'm pretty chilled on game day. I like to go for a swim.
Yep.
If I don't get one, I won't
Yeah.
stress out or anything. But that's probably the one main thing that I do like to do on game day.
Yeah. And then what would you say like the perfect future is for you and your rugby?
It's a good question. Probably just play for as long as I can, to be honest. Ideally like to stay in New South Wales and play at the Tars for as long as I can.
Yep.
And then the Wallabies is obviously a main goal.
Yeah.
2023 World Cup would be awesome if I can play good enough footy to get there.
Yep.
And then from there, just see what happens, really.
Yeah, cool. So what's the best advice you've been told or that you'd give to sort of people that are aspiring to follow the same footsteps as you?
Probably just enjoy the game as much as you can.
Yep.
And work on your core skills. The more you can work on your passing, kicking, tackling, whatever it is for your position that you play,
Yep.
The more confident you'll be going into a game.
Yeah, cool. So we always finish up with some questions from the fans.
Yep.
So from Ronald, your favourite rugby moment?
Ooh, that's a great question, Ronald. I'd probably have to say the Under-20s World Cup semi-final.
Yep.
That's the one game I started against Argentina. It was in Argentina and the crowd was massive, and we ended up putting a number on them, and that was pretty special.
Yeah. Cool. From Bramble Wines, what age did your dream of having a rugby career come into?
Like I said before, when I was younger, everyone dreams of playing rugby, but once I got to year 11, year 12, and kind of started playing some decent footy, that's where I kind of thought maybe this will be a dream that could come true. So.
Yep. Cool. From Rocco Rossi, what's the best way you deal with a loss?
Probably just have a day or two to just not think about the game.
Yep.
And then after that, you can kind of reflect on what you've done well, what you didn't do so well in the game.
Yep.
But just try not to get too
deep
into it. Yeah.
Your favourite Aussie driller from Richie Tooth? That's a standard from Toothy.
What's an Aussie driller?
Driller. Favourite. Oh, so let's go. Favourite music artist.
Ooh, Aussie.
You can be an Aussie.
That's a good question. Far out. Put me on the spot here.
Any favourite songs you're listening to at the moment?
Oh, there are, but they're Kiwi artists.
Who are they?
660.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got some good songs. But yeah, Aussie, I don't know. Can't beat AC/DC.
Yeah, classics. Next question. With lots of schoolboy rugby union stars going to league, what can union do to stop this?
Yeah, it's a good question. Not too sure. Recently, there's been a bit of struggles in union with money and whatnot. Obviously, league have a fair bit of money, which might influence people going to league.
Yeah.
But look, I guess if your mates are playing union and they want to go in union, it might help some other boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm honestly not too sure what union can do. I think the game's growing at the moment. It's been in a bit of a slump, but I think it's definitely growing at the moment. So hopefully that stops it.
Yeah. Was your league ever something you sort of looked at playing in?
Oh, not really. I enjoyed it when I played in the juniors, but I didn't really have any offers or anything from them.
Yeah.
And I love rugby union anyway. So yeah.
Cool. From Benastalia, why did you drop kick the conversion from the sideline? That was everywhere on the media.
Yeah, far out. I've seen it too many times.
Aziz Donaldson's done away with the tee and just gone stripe.
Honestly, it was just the tee. Something was going on with the tee or the grass, and the board just kept sloping over the front.
Yeah.
And we've
Rugby
got
bricks.
Yeah, rugby bricks. No, we've got a time limit as well. So the ref was kind of saying, you got to hurry up. You're taking too long here.
Oh, so you set it up a few times?
Yeah, I set it up a few times. Got to the minute or whatever it was, the time limit. She said, you got to do something here. So I just thought, throw the tee away and have a crack, and couldn't have hit any sweeter.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so the Up and Coming podcast is brought to you by Drayton Laumberg. The sports agency represents the next generation of athletes and helps them to achieve their goals on and off the field. Head to draytonlaumberg.com to find out more. Thanks for coming in, Dono.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. His socials will be dropped below, and so will ours. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you. Perfect.
Thanks, mate. How
Cheers.
good.
Very good.
My young hitter, we do robot, we got saddies, rucksack glitter. Been in the track since young, of course I sit on them packs get flung. Have front row seats in a passy, course I sit on them.